What's up, YouTube friends? My name is Danny Jones, and welcome to Jones Vibes.
Jones Vibes.
First and foremost, thank you so much for clicking on this video, and if you enjoy it, please go ahead and hit that wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man button. I mean like button, and then go ahead and hit subscribe as well as hit that notification bell. That'll keep you up to date when I make more content. And this week, I'm talking about the brand new film from Jordan Peele, Nope, and I am honestly so excited about it. But before I do want to say that this review may contain some spoilers. So if you haven't seen this movie yet, go ahead and grab your horse and get on out of here. And if you have seen it, then maybe you can answer me a little question. What is a bad miracle? I do really love that question, and it demonstrates just how much this film makes you think as the viewer. But yeah, we're talking about Nope today. It's Jordan Peele's third feature film. It's finally here, and now I've seen it, and gosh, I really love what this guy does with film. It's always unique and fresh, and so far, amazing. My wife and I rewatched Get Out and Us in preparation for this, which, in my opinion, both are just phenomenal. Get Out was obviously a revolutionary film as well as a massive hit, but I feel like Us sometimes doesn't get the credit that it might deserve. I feel like I want to challenge people that maybe didn't like it so much the first time they watched it to go and rewatch it. It's just a good movie. We get to see Lupita Nyong'o battle herself to like an orchestral version of I Got Five on It. I mean, what more do you want? But we also rewatched Candyman, which Jordan Peele produced, and I really hope that he continues to give badass directors like Nia DaCosta a voice in the horror genre as well as any other genre, because all these films have just been, I don't know, they've been brilliant to me. But yeah, Jordan Peele is amazing, and as for the cast of this movie, we have Daniel Kaluuya as O.J. Haywood, the starring role, and in a recent interview, Jordan Peele actually said that he is his De Niro, referencing the long relationship between Scorsese and De Niro, and he's right. So far, it's been absolute magic, and Daniel was so good in this movie. But starring opposite him as his little sister Emerald, we had Keke Palmer, who I was not too familiar with. My wife was saying that she was in Scream Queens, which I didn't see, but I guess I need to. But man, she gave one hell of a performance in this. Like I said, this was kind of my introduction to her, and wow. She had so much charisma and charm to her character, and the writing was also fantastic. But then we had Brandon Perea playing Angel Torres, who was absolutely hilarious. Just this young dude working at Fry's Electronics who gets caught up in this just crazy thing. It was funny, but a smaller role, but an important one in the film was Michael Wincott as Antlers Holst. He's a famous director, and I thought he was great. We had Stephen Yeun as Ricky Jupe Park, and his character was actually given a lot more depth than I anticipated. He still was a side character, but thematically, he played a pretty big role, and it was awesome. But just to go back to the plot, in my opinion, it was very well executed and very well written. It was a lot different than I expected, which I always appreciate. I went into this movie kind of expecting to see some people battle some little aliens, which is kind of typical, but it ended up being basically Jaws in the sky, and that blew my mind a bit. Like, after watching Jaws, or any shark attack movie for that matter, you go into the ocean and you feel a little uneasy. Some seaweed brushes up against your leg, you're like, what was that? But funny enough, after the movie, I walked outside and I looked up at the clouds and I felt a little uneasy. It was eerie. So whatever Jordan Peele was trying to do, or whatever he set out to do, I think it worked. And it also had a lot of twists and turns, and just to kind of walk through the basic plot, you have this brother and sister who mysteriously lose their father to a coin that rapidly falls from the sky and goes through his face. Looks like the coin landed on heads, if you know what I mean. Too soon? But their father owns a horse business that provided well-trained horses for like film and TV productions, and they're descendants of an African-American that was in the first motion picture sequence, and he's like riding a horse. And they're very proud of that, as they should be. But after their dad passed away, OJ is really trying to just keep things going, and Emerald is kind of on a different path. And weird stuff keeps happening at the ranch. There's this cloud that like doesn't move, and horses are going missing, and they think it's aliens. And basically they want to get the money shot, or as they call it, the Oprah shot. And that's pretty much what the whole movie is kind of operating around. You have this whole subplot also with Ricky, and this was interesting. Like, we find out that he was a child actor on this show, this television show, and they had this chimpanzee, Gordy, who was like part of the show, but one day on set, the chimpanzee just went nuts and like killed a bunch of people. And that's how the movie opens, and it was just like, what is even going on? But we get these flashbacks, and Gordy walks up to Ricky and like does a little fist bump, and then he is shot and killed, which was sad. Even though, well, he did some bad stuff, but I love monkeys. But I think it did fit in very well. It gives his character a little bit more of an arc, and now he's sacrificing horses to this flying disc that comes, you know, that's why he's getting the horses from OJ, and he thinks that maybe he can control nature, you know, maybe because he wrangled Gordy. Maybe that means he thinks that he can wrangle this thing. He underestimates this big alien. I'm not sure, and it is a little confusing, so please let me know down in the comments if you have more thoughts on kind of that side plot of the movie. I would love to hear your take on it. I also think it's interesting because it shows kind of the duality between animals and humans within a movie where humans, who are typically kind of the predator, and they have now become the prey to this like apex predator of the sky. It's so strange, and Jordan Peele, like, he loves to use animals in his films. You had the deer from Get Out, you had the rabbits in Us, and now you had, I guess, horses, and you had Gordy in this. It's so cool. And there's some really clever and funny scenes in this movie as well, especially the stuff between Angel and Emerald. I would say that the writing is very down to earth, no pun. They talk and act just very much how casual people would talk and act. It makes you feel comfortable as the viewer. And with that being said, there's also some very shocking and kind of mind-altering stuff. When that entire audience, including Ricky and his wife and his kids, they get sucked up into this thing, and they show the people up in this stomach, and just the sheer terror and panic. It's like claustrophobic, and I don't know, it made me feel things that messed with me a little bit. Similar to how Signs did, M. Night Shyamalan's Signs, when I was a little bit younger. Just scenarios that you can't possibly imagine being in. But yeah, we eventually do get to this thoroughly entertaining and action-packed climax, kind of final act of the movie. They're trying to get a solid shot of this thing, and OJ figures out that you shouldn't look up at it. And so they devise this whole plan, and the director dude has his camera all set up, and OJ's kind of gonna be like the bait, and things don't go exactly how it's planned, and this TMZ guy gets absolutely owned, and then the director kind of like sacrifices himself for, I think, just like for his shot of all time, for his art. And then you also had Angel, and he was super smart. He like wraps himself in barbed wire. I thought that was very clever, and he got spit out. But it ends with Emerald getting a solid picture on this kind of coin picture thing at the kind of theme park in the town. They have like this coin picture thing. And then there's the big reveal that OJ survived and he didn't die, which was great. And yep. That is really all I have to say. Those are my thoughts. It was brilliant. It was funny. I loved when Keke Palmer was like, I told you this guy would bring like a non-electric motorized camera. And she was like, let's go, boy! You know, with Jordan Peele, like, if you were expecting horror, I think you got elements of that. But this was something different, and I welcomed it. You know, the one-word title, Nope, just subtly placed around the movie. It was almost comical every time they said it. And it also was this classic survival story flipped completely upside down. And as always, he's left us kind of this puzzle to stew on and figure out. Just like in Us, like, what does this all mean? There's that opening, that Nahum 3:6 quote, I will cast abominable filth on you, make you vile, and make you a spectacle. Just weird. And there's also there's the family bonding, as well as highlights of the pressure of living up to your family's legacy. I don't know. There's just a lot to unpack, and just like his other movies, I'm gonna have to rewatch it like several times to figure out what exactly is going on. But does it pass my vibe check? Yes, it does. Absolutely. I thought it was a great movie, and I am curious to know what you thought about it. I'm pretty high on this, but it is just my opinion. Maybe you're not. Are you a fan of Alien films? Are you a fan of Jordan Peele's? Did this movie surprise you like it surprised me? Please feel free to reach out and let me know with a comment. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and click that like button for me. That helps me get seen by people just like you, as well as hit subscribe. I would love to have you become a part of this Jones Vibes community. I'm also on social media at Jones Vibes Only, and yeah, that was Nope. As always, I hope you all are safe, happy, and healthy, and I will see you next time.
Jones Vibes.